Is that it? That is it.
That's the music.
It's been a while. Oh, it's been a week. 3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, it's Wild Josh, and I'm joined tonight by Kyle because Chase and Luke couldn't make it. All you really need is just us two. You don't really need those other two jamokes.
Yeah, it's like when you have dinner, you don't really need dessert. You just kind of want it.
Yeah, but sometimes you're like way too full for dessert, and then you eat it anyways, and then you're sick.
Yeah, and if you have dessert only, it's like, I would have rather had Kyle and Josh.
Yeah, exactly. So, you got us tonight. Now, let's get geeky. We're going to start it off with our first segment, Be Kind Rewind, where we're going to look back at what we've done since the last episode for geeky things. And we're going to start with you, Kyle. What have you been up to?
Well, for my first time, I went to a place Josh has recommended a few times and actually told me I should do this weekend, is go to Fun Spot. Josh, you can tell them what Fun Spot is because you're probably... I mean, it's your history. This is your passion.
I do love a Fun Spot. So if you're from New England, you may have heard of Fun Spot. It's a large arcade. I shouldn't say large. I guess it boasts that it's like the largest arcade in the world or something like that if you go on their website. But it's a large arcade in New Hampshire. It's up in the Lakes region. If you've ever heard of the Lakes region in New Hampshire, you probably heard of the Lake Winnipesaukee. It's on Lake Winnipesaukee. And it's 3 floors arcade, and the top floor, they call it actually an arcade museum. It just has the largest collection I've ever seen of vintage arcade games. So it's got all the greats, Donkey Kong Jr., Pac-Man, Dig Dug, my personal favorite, just all the old cabinets and a lot of pinball machines, and they're all like $0.25 to play. So you really can go there and spend like $10 and you'll be there for like hours and hours. If you know who Keith Apicary is, I don't know if anyone out there knows who Keith Apicary is. He's a internet personality. He's got a lot of videos on YouTube. He actually has a arcade there that he donated to Fun Spot, his Neo Geo machine, which is really cool to play on because he made a lot of videos and stuff on that machine. But I learned about Keith Apicary years and years ago, actually, from listening to a podcast about video games. Probably 10 years ago, listening to a podcast called Video Game Outsiders. They talked about how cool he was, and I started watching his videos, and then I saw that he was going to be touring and doing some live shows, and one of them was at Fun Spot. So me and a few friends bought tickets, and we drove up to Fun Spot, and we met him, and it was awesome.
That's actually pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. And he is a wild man. I don't know if you ever watch his videos. He's wild in his videos, but in real life, he's as wild as his videos. He like got up on top of a cabinet and jumped into the crowd and was crowd surfing on us. And there wasn't that many of us, so he's just a wild man.
That's awesome.
So you liked it?
I did. I was a big fan, and I was mostly a fan of the vintage arcade games.
Yeah, that's why I go there. My wife loves the ticket machines, and she'll go and spend all her money down there on those, but I love the vintage ones.
Yeah, I went right to Dr. Mario because before I went up, Josh had told me that his wife had a high score on the Dr. Mario cab, so I went up there and took a picture and sent it to him and said, which one is hers? And he said it's not up there anymore. So that was sad.
Well, that was like a year ago, so it might have got passed or something. Or sometimes they'll wipe the memory. Some machines, if you unplug them, they just naturally will reset.
Oh.
So it's possible that happened, or if because they're constantly moving things around there.
Gotcha.
I'm sure she didn't have like the high score of all time. It was just on that cabinet. She had a top 10 score.
If they're always moving their machines, it would make sense because one of the first games I played, Zybots, like I played for maybe 20 minutes and I got the 11th, 14th, and 15th high score on that game. And then another game I don't even remember I played later on and I got like the 15th high score. And I was like, I don't think I'm that good at video games that I played for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, I know some machines will hold their top scores if you unplug them and move them, and others won't. You figure if they shut down or lose power or anything like that, it can refresh high scores. They like have a database. Twin Galaxies is like a database for high scores, and they keep track of all the high scores in the world at their website. Which, if you've seen the documentary of King of Kong, Twin Galaxies is featured in that, and actually a lot of that documentary King of Kong was filmed at Fun Spot.
Huh.
Yeah. Have you ever seen King of Kong?
No.
It's a great documentary. If you even if you don't like documentaries, it's just really entertaining. It's about these guys that are going after the top score in Donkey Kong. One of the guys is a very likable character, and you kind of root for him. The other is he's the one that has the top score. His name's Billy Mitchell, and they make him out to be like the villain. He's very easy to hate. So you got this kind of good versus evil story going, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I'll have to check that out. You've told me about that one before. This is clearly a passion of Josh's. I did get to play that Dr. Mario, and I had never played it before. I liked it, and my wife liked it. We played that together. I think she played 2 video games while we were there, and we were there for a few hours. I bought $20 worth of tokens. So what it got me was 125 tokens. So that's better. That's better than a quarter a piece.
Right. Yeah. They usually have coupons too that will get you like $5 extra worth.
Oh, that's awesome.
Free.
Yeah. And I went and I think I maybe spent $4 on games in 3 hours, and they were all ready to go. So I had to go use the ticket machine. But it was still awesome. I liked Dr. Mario. Sarah liked it. She doesn't even play video games, and that's one she likes. So we'll have to come over and use your Nintendo for that.
Yeah, I have Dr. Mario. Yeah, the Nintendo version on the classic, the mini classic that I have.
Yeah, and then the other game I played really quickly, because I know we got to move on, is Tron, and I like that because what it was is it takes at least one game I was familiar with from the original Tron, and that's the Light Cycles game, and 3 other games, and you can play it by yourself or play it with against someone else. And you have these 4 quadrants, and you don't know which game is in a quadrant, and you select a quadrant, and it brings you to a game. So if you're playing against someone else, you can't really play to your strengths. You really have to know how to beat each one of those 4 games. And then if you beat all 4, and your opponent beats all 4, you move on to the next phase, which are those same 4 games, but at a higher difficulty level. So I really like the premise of that.
Nice, that's cool. One thing before you move on from this topic that I wanted to mention, I did this probably a couple years ago after I had read Ready Player One, but I went up there with a list of all the games that were referenced in Ready Player One, and I played the ones they had, and they didn't have them all, but they had a lot of them, and that was kind of neat. Like, especially it was around the time that I was reading the book that it kind of like got me in like the mind space of like Wade and Halliday, like playing the games that they were talking about in the book.
That's cool, and I'd like to do that like as a sojourn. But another game I wish I had played while I was there, and I don't even remember the name of the game, but there was a game that the kids played in Stranger Things at the beginning of season 2. It had like a knight and something. In that cab was there as well, and I would have liked to have played that.
Oh, Dragon's Lair, that would have been cool.
You're right, Dragon's Lair.
Well, there's always a chance to go back. It's not like it's that far for us. It's only about an hour.
Yeah.
So we could do that on a weekend. I say that now, but I have a newborn at home, and I'm not going to probably be doing that ever again. But no, that's not true. I got to teach him how to play arcade games.
All right. And then the other thing I did this morning was I was talking about the movie Hook, and I referenced the Boo Box to a coworker, and they were like, "Oh, what's that?" And I was like, "From Hook." And
not the Boo Box.
Yeah, the Boo Box. And she was like, "Oh, what's that?" So I said, "It's this Easter egg where Glenn Close is playing a pirate with a beard, and Hook is going up, and it's between her and Peter." And Peter thinks he's gonna get found out, and then it turns to Glenn Close, and Hook is angry with that character and saying, "Oh, you done something against me," and she starts crying, "Yes, I did." And so they put her in the Boo Box, and it's a small confined space where you're locked in, and then they just dump scorpions and stuff in after you. And so she was like, "Oh, I don't remember that." So then I quickly stood up and grabbed a Geek-Cetera business card, handed it to her, and I said, "Get yourself an education."
Nice. We should put that on the business cards. Get yourself an education.
We should.
Get educated.
Yeah. I don't think I gained a listener. That's probably not the way to go about it, but I was pretty proud of myself for geeking out right in the morning.
I didn't realize that was Glenn Close.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Well, I got educated too. I knew what the boo box was though, because it's a pretty iconic scene.
Sure is.
Like, not the boo box. No, no. Anything else you did that was geeky?
Not in the past week.
All right.
I edited a podcast, and that should be going up before any of you get to listen to this one.
Yeah, that's good. Because I told a couple people, hey, it's coming tomorrow. So, I guess it's my turn?
It is your turn. Josh, what do you got?
So, well, when you hear that music, that sad music, that something sad has happened. So, I'm just going to let the music settle in. So, I have officially canceled my MoviePass subscription. And it was kind of a sad thing, a sad moment when I had to click cancel. But we're going to get into further on in our great debate as to why that decision was made. Are you going to be okay?
It's just the end of a great period in Geek-Cetera history.
It's true. It's an end of an era, really, for geeks everywhere. And I hope that something will replace the loss that we feel eventually.
Money always helps.
So that was something I did, and I talked to you after I had done it and said, it's over. It kind of felt like dragging Old Yeller out behind the barn and taking care of business because putting an end to my MoviePass subscription. But after I talked to you, you said you did it as well.
I did it immediately after you told me.
As soon as I told you that it was I canceled, you canceled?
Yep. And so I went into the app and I said I want to cancel and ask you for a reason. I said, well, you had a bad business model that couldn't pay me to go to the movies anymore, so I can't pay you anymore.
Did you really?
I really did.
Yeah, so my wife was like, oh, I'm just going to put it's because the baby. And I'm like, no, I'm going to let them know what they did wrong.
That stinks. Well, what's funny is they sent out an email this morning that said, hey, we're sorry that we couldn't pay you this weekend to go see these awesome movies, but here's what we've done to improve our service. And I had already canceled at that point, so I just emailed back. And of course, it's a no reply at MoviePass.com, but I still emailed back, and I was like, LOL, good luck with that. Send.
Yeah. I think MoviePass is dead. And I know we got a few of our listeners to sign up for MoviePass. They didn't, we didn't get them to, but through listening to us talk about it, they did. And I don't think anyone really lost. No one lost in this endeavor. It's just, as we'll talk about later, it's not what it was.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
So then another thing I did this weekend, I had a friend over that had not seen Ready Player One, but had read the book. So we sat down and watched Ready Player One. And I realized the second time through, because that was only the second time I watched it since the theater. I hadn't seen it since the movie, the original time I saw it in the theaters. But that movie was that was a bad movie. It really was terrible. Like, I just didn't like it. And I kind of liked it more the first time I had seen it. And I was trying to be like all positive about it and say, if you just think about it as its own separate standalone thing and not the book, it's not that bad. And there are parts that I like, but besides the fact that it's referencing everything like from the 80s that it's really cool and I like, there's not much redeeming about it. And he was actually at the last minute kind of like, I don't know if I want to watch this because I'm worried it's going to ruin the book for me. And I was kind of like, no, it's not going to ruin the book for you. It's just view it as different. But I just kept hearing him like sigh and like roll his eyes. I guess you can't hear someone roll their eyes, but if you could, I was hearing it because he was rolling his eyes quite a bit.
Very interesting.
So it's a bad movie. And then the last thing I did was actually today. I had been reading on IGN about how No Man's Sky released a new update called Next. And how they were saying that it's the game that it should have been at release and all this stuff like that. So I decided I was going to try it. I went to go play it and realized it needed to update, of course. Of course it needed to update. Why wouldn't it? But it was like 9 gigs it needed to update. And that took like 4 hours. So I set it and then went and did some grocery shopping and a couple things around the house. When I came back, it was done and played it for an hour or so. And it is a little better. Like there's a little bit more like guiding you storyline kind of stuff, you know, but it's still kind of the same game. You know, so when you initially played, I don't know when the last time you played, Kyle, you were a true first person, right? Where you only saw your weapon. Now it's actually like third person where you see yourself.
Oh, I don't like that.
So I don't know if you can transfer from first person to third. It starts you off in third person. I kind of had a hard time because the first planet it started me on was radiated. So everything I was doing was killing me. Unless I got in my ship and let my shield regen up, and then I could get out and do some stuff. And then the patrol guys were not very happy with me, so they started attacking me fairly early on, and they killed me a couple times, and I was getting irritated. So then I restarted again, like, okay, because it's a total random start. It's different for everyone. Because I remember the last time I played at launch, that when I started, I was on like this peaceful, nice little planet, and I was able to walk around and collect whatever I want and spend as much time as I wanted. Nothing was hurting me. And this planet was the opposite of that. Everything wanted to kill me. So then I restarted.
High risk, high reward.
Yeah. So then I restarted the game, and then it put me on this planet where it was like negative 64 degrees, and my guy was freezing the whole time. But at least the patrols were friendly here, and I was able to get my ship fixed and get off the planet. So, and that's basically where I'm at. So I don't know that I'm going to stick with it long term, but I might play it a little bit here and there. But I know soon Spider-Man comes out, and I really want to play that game pretty bad. So I'll probably be getting that. You have any interest in that game?
Which one, No Man's Sky or Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
No, not really. I do think that villain looks cool, Mr. Negative. And I know we talked about that in a previous episode, but if the gameplay is a lot like the Batman Arkham series or the
Infamous, it's gonna be like Infamous.
Yeah, but to me they're the same. I've done enough of that.
Oh really? I loved Infamous. That game was fun.
I'm not interested in that. And as far as No Man's Sky, I would only go back to it if it was a multiplayer game. And I did ask. So Josh,
it is a multiplayer game.
No. Because Josh sent out a message saying, "Hey, I'm going to try this again." And I said, "Well, is it multiplayer?" And he said, "Yes." No, I said, "Can I play with you?" He said, "Yes, if I paid for the subscription service." And I decided it's not for me. I'm not gonna play this without someone else.
It's not the subscription. It's whatever, the PlayStation Online thing. You know how you have to pay for that?
Yeah, PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, I just have to get that. If I did that, then I could play with you.
Yeah, so I'm not going to play because you're not
going
to get that.
Do you have PlayStation Plus?
Yeah, I do.
How much is it?
It's $50 a year.
$50 a year? That's not too bad, really, when you break it down. But maybe I will. I don't know. Yeah, it might be fun if I was playing with you or something like that. Like, I'm curious if we work together, if we have our own ships, or how it works out as playing with a group. Like, does it start us like in 2 different spots in this humongous galaxy? Because I don't know how we would run into each other if that were the case. So that's what I've been up to. Oh, but before we move on to the next segment, I know that you had mentioned something that you didn't mention here, which was Horizon Zero Dawn. So you started that.
I did start that. I'm not terribly far into the game.
Oh. What do you think so far, though? What are your first impressions?
I like the story. I kind of like the gameplay. It's a little confusing. I'm sure I'll get used to it.
Yeah, you will.
I'm pretty interested in finding out what goes on with the story.
Yeah, the story is very good, I thought. What do you think about Aloy? I thought she was a really cool character.
I guess it really depends, because a lot of it is you're deciding how she's going to respond and how she's going to react.
Mm-hmm.
So from the cutscenes, she's an interesting character, but I don't think I have enough of what's going on to be able to make a decision.
I don't know. Do you want any spoilers?
No.
Okay. I was going to say your decision making has a lot to do with how it plays out, just so you know.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not interested in that, but I do want to play it and get to know it.
Okay. Yeah, it's a fun game, and the rumor is that they're gonna be releasing 2 more DLC packs for it. I believe one in November and then one in the spring, and then that they're working on a Horizon Zero Dawn 2 is what the rumors are.
Horizon Zero Dusk.
What, part 2? Maybe. No. It'll be Horizon Zero Dawn 2 probably.
Lame.
Lame. All right. Anything else?
I got nothing.
All right. Well, that concludes Be Kind Rewind. And let's move on. But first, let's get a word from one of our friends.
This segment is brought to you by Preventure Service Company. Got a major renovation you need done? Armin's been doing it all since 1981. For fast and friendly service, contact preventure@gsinet.net.
And we're back with fan theories. And tonight we're going to talk about a theory that Kyle brings us. So why don't you introduce this theory to us, Kyle?
I want to start this by saying this has been a long time coming, a very well thought through theory that I've sunk a lot of brain power into. So I hope you like. Josh, are you familiar with the Men in Black movies? Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones?
I am. Actually, I was watching one yesterday.
What if I told you that they were part of a shared movie universe and it wasn't the Jump Street franchise?
I would say no way.
You would be correct, because it's not a shared movie universe. It's a shared movie TV universe. Mind blown.
Whoa.
So this theory proposes that Men in Black and the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air share a universe, in that Will grows up to be Agent Letter.
What was he?
I think it's Agent J, and the other one's
J.
K.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So Will grows up to be Agent J. A couple reasons why. One, and this whole theory started with thinking about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and how Aunt Vivian changed actresses in the middle of the series. Now, we know the whole reason behind that is the original Aunt Viv and Will had their differences off the screen. But the way to explain it on the screen is that the original Aunt Viv was an agent, and she had to go out. Actually, no, she was on a mission and she died. So they had to bring in a new Aunt Viv. They neuralized everyone. Earlier I had it as normalized everyone, but I looked it up. It's neuralizer, not normalizer.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, exactly. They neuralized the entire family and said, this is Aunt Viv. And that's when they first got their eye on Will.
Mm.
They watched him, and as he grew up, because I don't know if you guys know this, in the aftermath of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, his whole family was murdered, including Carlton.
Oh, that's terrible.
It is terrible, and it set him on this life of crime fighting, and he became an officer. And he changed his identity because the people who murdered his family, they were coming off after Will.
I think that the people who murdered his family was Jeffrey, and Jeffrey was an alien.
I think you're right.
He was sent from the future to stop Jay from ever becoming Jay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, actually you're right, and I did read that as fan fiction, and that was written by Tina Belcher of Bob's Burgers. She actually wrote that, so I believe it. So Will goes on to become this cop. He runs into an alien, and that's when the Bureau comes and gets him and turns him into Agent J. And beyond that, there is a musical link between the movie and the TV series, and that's Will Smith. He rapped under that pseudonym Fresh Prince while he was a teenager, and later on he actually did music for the Men in Black soundtrack, and so we have that connection as well. So that's where this theory comes from.
Mind is blown. I think you're right. I think for the first time you nailed it.
Thank you. I put all the pieces together. This was
you did. It was a long time coming.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
There's a wall in my bathroom that has the little pins and pictures and the red string connecting all the dots.
Yeah, I've seen that wall.
It's a government,
and I thought it was a little weird.
It's a government conspiracy.
It's actually in the shower, which was even more bizarre.
Yeah. I mean, one wall is that, and then the other wall I have in my shower is a whiteboard, and it's constantly being washed off. I can't keep anything on that board.
Oh, well, I mean, I think that's a great theory. I really do. I see it now. It all ties in. I feel like my eyes have been opened to the truth.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think it's a literary masterpiece.
Yeah, kudos. I mean, round of applause.
Yep. Well, I'm gonna give myself some too. Anything to add? Actually, I thought what you did add was great.
Yeah, you think that Jeffrey was definitely the one?
Yeah, it makes sense to me because he didn't die. He wasn't one of the ones. He was not part of the family.
Yeah, and he was sent from the future to make sure that Agent J never becomes Agent J.
And he failed.
He did. I believe he failed because Carlton took a bullet for him. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he was just doing his Tom Jones stance.
Yeah.
He took it. It was one of those. He was bringing his arms around his face, and it was actually going to catch him in the arm, but he moved too fast this time. He didn't have his stance right, and it caught him right in the face, right between the eyes.
Yeah. Crazy. It ties all together. Mm-hmm. Nice job.
Thank you.
Well, we hope you liked our theory, and we're going to move on to our next segment. But first, we're going to get a word from one of our friends.
Hey guys, this is Super Friendly, live at GraniteCon with Morgan Kittleson from Comic Books Care, and he's just going to give us a little 30-second to a minute on what he does, and we think it's really cool.
Hey guys, my name is Morgan. I'm actually the founder, CEO, head marketing monkey, just about everything for Comic Books Care. Comic Books Care is the idea of like you, someone you know, maybe even someone else knows that you have extra comic books or extra manga that you don't need. So what you do is you donate them to the nonprofit, and from there we sort them for quality and content and give them to kids at children's hospitals and family centers. And by quality and content, I mean we're not going to give Deadpool to a 4-year-old, or if it kind of smells like cat pee, well, thank you for the donation and politely get it away. That's what we're all about. Feel free to. We're on comicbookscare.com and .org and .net. And we're on Facebook at facebook.com/comicbookscare. So thank you, and please, the more books for the kids, the better it is.
Thank you so much, Morgan.
And we are back with news and rumors, oh my, where we're going to talk about some of the news and rumors that we dug up in the last week. And we're going to start with you, Kyle. What'd you find?
Well, I actually didn't come up with too much. I thought it was going to be more than me and Josh. So
it usually is, but, you know, I think we're holding our own.
We are holding our own. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the past couple episodes, I've tried to go more fluff with my news and rumors because I think you guys like to go heavy, so I only have a couple fluff pieces. But my first news, and this is 5 years old, but beer was not considered an alcoholic beverage in Russia until the year 2013.
Really?
It really wasn't.
So you could just drink a beer and drive?
You could, actually, and that's part of the article that I have a link to here in the show notes, is that it was considered a soft drink and that people guzzled beer on their way to work.
Wow. I think, you know how we've been adding more pictures to our show notes? I think you need to find a nice picture of a drunk Russian and post that right in there.
I could.
Let's see. I'm sure if you Google drunk Russian, you're going to find something.
I'm always aware of Googling things now.
Oh, I got a good one right here.
All right. You pop that bad boy. Oh, my. I got a few here, too. I wonder if you're going to come up with the same things I did.
There it is.
Yep, that's the same one. So we're just going to let that be that. Please log on to www.geek-cetera.com to view our show notes, and you're going to see that picture of the drunk Russian and the link to our article. And then my second piece of news is another on the state and history. Luke liked those.
Yeah, he did.
So I'm going to tease that with this.
Oh.
I don't know if that's going to ring any bells with you guys.
Oh, it rung some bells for me. I pictured a little bald guy dancing. Little old bald guy.
Yeah, little old bald guy with some glasses. You know what his name is?
No.
Mr. Six.
Mr. Six.
When I was a teenager, Mr. Six was on my TV all the time because we got advertisements for Six Flags. And Mr. Six was a Six Flags, he probably still is, Six Flags mascot. And what that music means and what those memories are bringing back is that on this date in history, 1961, the first Six Flags opened in Texas. And by the way, tonight, the date we're recording this is August 1st, 2018. So August 1st, 1961, Six Flags over Texas opened.
Nice. I put a nice picture in
There's
there.
a nice picture of Mr. Six.
Was that the first Six Flags ever? Was that one in 1961 in Texas?
Yeah.
Wow, and now there's a bunch all over the place. Well, I have a couple news items. The first one is National Treasure 3. How excited were you for that?
I didn't know that was coming.
Well, it's not. It got canceled. So if you were excited for National Treasure 3, unfortunately, you're going to have to wait because it got canceled. So for right now, anyways, it's not happening.
Okay.
Yeah. I like those movies. I like history.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
It was good. And then I got some other news. I thought this news would strike you because who is your favorite writer for Doctor Who?
I like Stephen Moffat.
Yeah, most people do like Stephen Moffat. Even though he's not writing for Doctor Who anymore, he's still writing. And now he's writing for HBO for the show The Time Traveler's Wife, which is going to be coming out soon. So he is sticking in the vein of The Time Traveler, but he's not going to be doing Doctor Who.
He's more into companions now than doctors.
I guess so. And then I got some other news, some good news. I don't have you cueing music for this one, but it could be because some people would be really excited about this. But Timeless, what do you think about that show? Hey, that was right on cue.
That audio has been freed up. We're not going to use that for MoviePast
it's
anymore.
Repurposed for Timeless. And anytime we mention Timeless.
Timeless!
Well, we might not be mentioning a whole lot more because although it got canceled, Timeless is getting another shot. They're going to actually wrap up the entire series in a 2-hour season finale. And that's it. They're going to do it. They're going to, whatever stories they had left, they're going to wrap the whole thing up in a 2-hour series finale. And then it will be done. D-O-N-E, done.
You know what I say to that? Good.
Good?
Good.
You're happy with that? I'm glad that they're going to wrap it up at least and finish it, and we won't have any loose ends.
I want to see him do it Joss Whedon style. Like, kill off one of the favorite characters. Go nuts.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I want to see them wrap up the story. I do think the way Season 2 ended was stupid.
Yeah.
But as long as they're going to end it. I need to know what happens to Rittenhouse. I got to find out, like, all this stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think they can probably do it in 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. I could do it in about 5 minutes because they're not supposed to break the time rules by going back to their own timeline. So I'm pretty sure like 30 seconds from when season 2 ended, the world should just blink out.
It should just crack in half.
Yep.
Yeah, and then those time monsters from Doctor Who should come flying out and eating everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shared universe.
Yeah, and then Mary Poppins shows up in her TARDIS and saves the day.
Exactly. We're on the same page tonight. It doesn't happen often, but
so much.
All right, and then I got one last bit of news. It's some good news.
What's going on?
Oh, this is good news.
What is this?
It's great news. It's really exciting news.
What's happening?
I love this song. I could just listen to this over and over. Anyways, Episode 9, Star Wars Episode 9, has officially begun filming today, August 1st. That news comes from J.J. Abrams himself via his Twitter feed.
Good news. Good news. Can't wait to wrap this story.
Yeah, and he posted a little picture of the camera filming what looks like in the background to be Finn and Rey in the Millennium Falcon cockpit. It doesn't look like Yoda, but
oh yeah,
so,
I do see Finn.
Do you see Finn? He's kind of got a smile, it looks like, and then maybe it's Rey sitting in the middle there that you can't really see too clearly. There could be a Chewbacca or Admiral Akbar on the left there.
Well, Admiral Akbar is dead.
Well, if you turn your head sideways and look, it kind of looks like Admiral Akbar.
It's almost most assuredly not Admiral Akbar. Yeah, I can't even.
Hey, like if Leia can survive the void of space, why can't Akbar?
Because they confirmed Akbar was dead.
Who's they?
They confirmed it in the movie. Someone said, with Akbar gone and da-da-da-da, Admiral Hoda was...
Right.
Admiral
Well,
Hodo.
Admiral Holdo's dead too.
Uh,
So that's that. We're going to move on. We hope you enjoyed our news and rumors. But before we move on, let's get a word from our friends.
this segment is brought to you by Geek-Cetera. Some of us look better on the air.
All right. We are back with our segment that we call Can't Wait, where we get to talk about trailers for movies or video games that we just can't wait to play, TV series, whatever, just trailers that we can't wait for. And I'm going to start this one. And I'm going to talk about a trailer that was released during San Diego Comic-Con 2018. And that trailer is Godzilla King of the Monsters. This release is for May 31st, 2019. So we get some time on this one. It's a continuation of the Godzilla movie we got a little while back with the guy from Malcolm in the Middle. What's his name?
Bryan Cranston?
Yes, that's him.
We didn't really get him, did we?
He was in that movie.
Sort of.
He was in it.
All of 2 minutes.
Yes, he wasn't in it for very long, but he was in it. I couldn't think of who else was in that movie off the top of my head. There's a lot of actors in this movie that you don't know who they are, but there is one who you will know, and that is Millie Bobby Brown, 11 from Stranger Things. So she looks to be one of the main characters in this movie. This movie is going to have more monsters than just Godzilla. It looks like it has the original monsters from the Japanese movies, Godzilla movies, like the three-headed monster and Mothra, all the different Godzilla monsters that there are. And they're all just crazy fighting. And I don't really get the trailer. Seems like something catastrophic has happened on Earth and all these monsters have been released. And they're actually calling them Titans, not really monsters. But then Godzilla's there, and he's got helicopters and fighter jets flying with him, and he's going to save the day.
No.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me.
Okay.
But I don't know how they talked Godzilla into it. Maybe he was like really just in that money, and he just like, yeah, if you give me a cool mill, I'll fight for these monsters for you. And they're like, okay, or something else. I don't know. Maybe they're like, if you fight these monsters, we'll give you like a whole bunch of people to eat. I don't know. But for some reason, Godzilla has decided to help the humans save the day.
All right.
Yeah, what do you got?
I have the Aquaman trailer. Oh my!
Oh.
Why can I not talk? The Aquaman trailer.
I thought you did that on purpose.
I sure did not.
Is it Aquaman?
That's how some people call it. It's either Aqua or Agua.
Oh.
But Aquaman trailer comes out December 21st, 2018. You saw this trailer?
I did, yeah.
Okay. I feel like I'm just becoming less and less of a DC person with every DC movie that they put out.
Thank you very much. I've been saying that for years. DC is terrible.
For me, it's not everything. It's just their movies. I don't know what they... There's not a lot of originality. Like, you think of the Marvel movies that they put out, they've done a lot of originality even when it comes to the backstories. But this is going to show a partial origin story, because in the trailer we see Aquaman as a young kid who's being tortured at school. But you know where else we've seen young children in origin stories? I thought you were going to guess. I don't know why I thought you were going to guess. Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman. Yeah. We know Batman's story. I don't think we saw his origin story, but we know his backstory. As a child, his parents died. So it's a kid and another kid and another kid. We get that origin story. Let's get a little more originality, please. And
no.
It blows my mind. It's the same cookie cutter story. Mm-hmm. And I didn't see much of this, but when we last saw Atlantis in the Justice League movie, it was lacking visually. Like, their representation of Atlantis, it didn't leave me wanting more. I didn't love it. The only good thing I can say about this trailer is that it has a recognizable villain. Yeah.
One thing I thought was interesting about this trailer, and I don't remember if this was the way it was in Justice League, but that when Aquaman is underwater and he's talking, he sounds as clear as day. Like, if I were underwater talking, I'd be like, what does he have that he can actually, his voice can travel through water? That is a super ability right there.
Well, he can. I mean, he can breathe underwater and stuff.
It was just weird to me that he could just talk and it sounded normal, like he's standing right next to you. He's underwater. Like, I don't think the waves of sound travel the same underwater. I'm confident about that because I hear the way dolphins and orca talk to each other, and it's like, "Ah!" And it sounds different than just like we're talking right now.
That's the best orca impersonation I've ever heard.
My dolphin's better.
I'm not sure it's that much better. But let me put this to you, Josh. Have you ever watched a movie, though, that's based in another country, say France?
Yeah, I suppose.
Say you're watching a movie about, The Three Musketeers.
Okay.
Three Musketeers took place in France, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they all spoke in English.
I suppose.
They didn't have French actors with subtitles unless you're watching something that's specifically filmed in French. But they spoke American, so you knew what was going on. So I think that this is the same way. They're underwater, so they're speaking not Atlantean or however you would normally hear underwater.
Mm-hmm.
Speak in English so that you understand what's going on.
I guess I can buy it. I just don't love it.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm just trying to come up with a good explanation.
So, recognizable villain. Sorry, I threw you off.
No, that's okay. Yeah, Ocean Master. They had Black Manta. That's pretty awesome. I don't even know who the bad guy was in the Wonder Woman movie. I don't know who the bad guy was in that movie. I know he was like this warmongering dude, but maybe it was Ares. I have no idea though. Like, not very recognizable to me. Not someone I recognize from the comics. That I read a lot of comics anyway. And then you look at Doomsday. Mm-hmm. Doomsday is a recognizable character, but he looks so completely different. I'm just glad that Black Manta, Ocean Master, they're recognizable. You can live with that.
Yeah,
that's the only highlight I saw from that movie.
I put in the show notes the official Aquaman movie poster there.
Yes, you did. Visually stunning poster right there.
Yeah, it's very nice. Are you looking forward to Aquaman?
No,
me neither. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I had that sure in my head. So we hope you liked our trailers. We're going to move on to our next segment. But first, a word from our friends.
This segment is brought to you by Freihofer Septic Design, the name to know before you go. Call now. Dial 603-209-1221 to make your business our business.
So we're back with our great debate, and we're going to talk about something near and dear to our heart that we touched on earlier in the show was MoviePass. And
what was that? What was that you said?
MoviePass.
All right, it's a whole minute, so I'll only go through 20 seconds.
That's a pretty good sound clip. You should just save that. I didn't know you like Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, I do. All right.
So our real great debate tonight has to do with MoviePass, and I got a little thing. I said that we've been loyal customers of MoviePass since October, I believe, of 2017, somewhere around there. Does that sound about right?
Well, I don't know about loyal, because I guess if I was a loyal customer, I would have stuck with them. But I used them and abused my privileges as much as I could and took advantage of their program until they were done. And then I cast them aside.
I suppose.
Like a wet rag.
But we tried to stick with them. But we just thought it would be a good idea to talk about MoviePass, what went wrong, and what could have made it better. And I know I have some ideas. Hoping maybe you have some ideas. So I guess I'll start with, in my opinion, what went wrong for them. Why did this not work? Because a year ago when we signed up, it was great, right? $9.95 a month. You could see a movie every single day of the week. You could see a movie more than once. So if you saw something and then a couple days later you wanted to see it again, that was fine. You could not order online, and you could not access IMAX or 3D movies. That was what you were getting for your $9.95 a month. And that was great. What they did wrong was they constantly changed the policies. Well, I guess initially they kept the same model for probably 3 or 4 months. And then they started changing things in the beginning of 2018. You can't go see the same movie more than once. If it's prime time movie, you got to pay an extra fee. And things just kept changing. Little things. You got to take a picture of your ticket stub now.
That was so annoying. That was the worst.
And for some reason, when you would take an app of your ticket stub and send it in, the app had difficult time with that. It took like forever for the thing to stop thinking about what it was trying to do and send the picture in. Kyle would write on his ticket stubs to tick them off. That was funny.
What did I write? I don't remember this.
You don't remember when you wrote on your ticket stub?
No.
You wrote, "I'll play your stupid game" or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then you had to give it to the movie guy, the guy at the ticket counter. And he read it, and he's like, "What?" And we're like, "No, don't worry about it."
Yeah, that's right. So I had to. When we first started doing that, I wrote on my ticket stub because I knew I had to send my picture. I was like, "I will play your stupid game, but I won't like it." And I took my picture. But we went and got our tickets, and then we went for ice cream, and that's when I did my ticket thing. So then we had to go back and get in line. So I had my ticket stubbed to the guy, and he's looking at it like, "What is this?" I was like, "Oh no, that's not for you. That's for my movie overlords."
So the changing of the policies, I think, was just very irritating to the customers, trying to figure out, okay, what am I actually paying for? What am I actually getting? Then the app was another thing, and they made the app slightly better over the time, but the app was very glitchy sometimes. There was theaters around here where you didn't have a very good signal, so it was hard to sign in and get your ticket, especially a specific theater in mind in Hooksett, where there's just no good signal. So you'd have to, like, when you pull into the parking lot, there was like a spot at the very top of their parking lot where you could kind of get a signal, and then the rest of their parking lot was like a dead zone, and the entire theater was like a dead zone. So it was just really annoying. But to me, the nail in the coffin was charging more for movies at prime time times. That sounds stupid, but that was, if the movie was on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, you were going to end up paying more for it. If the movie was a new release and it was like coming out on a Thursday, you were going to end up paying more for it. To me, that is what really killed it, because that's when people go to the movies. Sorry, but I don't want to go see a movie on a Friday night after work most of the time, because I have to get up the next day and go to work. So if I'm only paying $9.95 to be able to see movies on Monday through Thursday, unless there's a new release on a Thursday, then I can't even see it on a Thursday, then that's stupid. No one goes to see movies on those days.
Yeah. Thursday's the Lord's Day.
I don't know. Whoever came up with that idea at MoviePass, that's like the dumbest idea in the history of dumb ideas. It really is. You just killed your subscribers right there. I'm sure they lost a lot of subscribers with that decision there. Mm-hmm. You probably, if you've been following any of the news on MoviePass, you see that they've been in financial problems right now. They just tried to restructure things by saying they're going to limit you to seeing you can't see new movies within the first 2 weeks. And that they're going to be raising the subscription price to $14.95 and stuff like that. I think it's done. It's done. When they start raising your price and changing things so drastically, you're telling people I can't go see a new movie when it comes out for 2 weeks. No way. If I want to see a movie, I will go to the movie theater and pay the ticket price to see a movie that night it comes out if I want to see it bad enough. And I'm not going to wait around for MoviePass to say, okay, yeah, you can go now. No way. Or you can go now as long as you go on a Monday through Thursday. No, that's stupid. How do you feel about what went wrong?
Well, I think, and I know my mother sent me an article pretty early on when I got my MoviePass saying, hey, this probably won't last very long. It was right. People were predicting this from the beginning because the model was subject to fail based on how much the subscription was and how much we got with our subscription. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, the MoviePass creators were trying to get their hands on the concession funds. Mm-hmm. They thought, okay, we're gonna get people to go to the movies on days they wouldn't, and then they're gonna buy concessions. So then once the movie theater owners see that, oh, we're generating revenue for them in concessions, we're gonna get part of that cash, and that's how we're gonna make this model work. Well, nobody wanted to give up concessions because that's how the movie theaters make their money. Early on, AMC had a big battle with MoviePass, and ultimately they weren't allowing MoviePass users to go to AMC theaters. They started doing their own thing. So it was doomed to fail from the beginning because it was a poor business model. So you're right. I think the other things they did by changing how they were going to make money and changing their business model, those also ultimately failed. But I think they were more effects of the original cause, which was what they were basing their hopes on, getting that concession money.
Yeah, you know what really came across to me is that when things started going poorly for them, they started changing the policies like frequently. It wasn't like change the policies and then wait a couple months, see how it's working. It's like change the policies 1 week and then like a couple weeks later change them again, and then a couple weeks later change them again. It was just like you could see that they were panicking and they were making stupid decisions because of the panicking. Instead of like sitting down and really thinking about, okay, what's going to happen? What do we need to do? You know, if they sat down earlier and said, to make this work, we need to raise the subscription to this. Mm-hmm. That would have been better than all the messing around with when you can go see a movie and when you can't, and oh, we're going to charge you more for this movie because it's a weekend and all that. They should have adjusted their pricing and not messed around with the service as much and made it work that way. It came to the point where like when I was going to use it, I'm like, what is the specific rules now? Because it changed again. It became irritating to the customers, and I think they hurt themselves a lot that way. The second part of this was, what could they have done different? What could they have done to make it better? Maybe even made it work. So if I were the CEO of MoviePass, this is what I would have said. $9.95 was great for the consumer, but I don't think it was scalable at that price. I think $14.95 subscription fee would have been better. That's more than a ticket price at most theaters. So that means a person can see 2 movies and it's worth it to them. If they're seeing only 1 movie that month, then MoviePass is actually making a little money because obviously they weren't making any money. The other thing I would say is you get a movie a day, not limited to seeing a movie more than once. The original, what they were promising, a movie a day, every day of the month. Then this is where they can make a little extra. If you want to see IMAX or 3D, offer premium rates. Right now, they're doing a premium rates thing if you go on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, what they call peak timing. And you got to pay sometimes $3 to $9 extra premium. Now, if you wanted to go see an IMAX or 3D, I think if they charged you a couple extra bucks, it's still a good service. And then, and I think this would have helped them a lot too, is ordering online, because they were only allowing, certain theaters were only allowed to do the e-ticketing. And there was no theaters around here that would allow e-ticketing. And when we were down in Charleston, there was no ticket theaters around Charleston that were doing the e-ticketing. So I don't know where they are. They must be in big cities somewhere, but they weren't in New Hampshire and they weren't in Charleston, South Carolina. So if you wanted to order online, then again, a premium rate would come in, maybe a couple dollars. If I could order my Star Wars tickets ahead of time online for a couple more dollars, I would have done that. And that's on top of the $14.95 subscription fee that I'm paying a month. I would have done that for the ease of being able to order my tickets from the couch.
I would not have.
What?
I would not have.
You wouldn't have?
Nope.
I would definitely have. If I wanted to go see a movie on opening night and I wanted to order my tickets ahead of time and not have to rush to the theater and hope they're there and all that stuff, absolutely. If it was a couple bucks, if it's $9, no. But if it's $2, $2.50, something like that, yeah, absolutely. Here's my money. And I think a lot of people would too. I don't think I'm alone there. And then the last, I just think, put money into the app. Make the app something that people want to use. Make it very stable. It's not hard these days. I mean, to make an app that's stable and runs. And don't make it a burden for people to have to, oh, now I have to take my picture of my ticket. And, oh, now the app's not loading. And why can't I sign into this movie? And, oh, eliminate all that garbage. And I think actually if you ordered online, you would be eliminating a lot of that, because you're home where you have Wi-Fi. You're not going to have any stability issues with that. It's when you're at these theaters that are in no man's land and they don't have a signal and you start running into issues with the app a lot of times. So what do you think? Would that have been a good service?
Yeah, I think so. I love the idea of paying $9.95 and getting all of the things you just described.
Yeah, me too. Believe me too. But I don't think that's sustainable.
Yeah, probably not. I don't know what they could have done that better, but I'm not a business guy. I just know that what they were doing was not good. I know how to take advantage of an opportunity when I see it.
Yeah. They're going to steal my business model and make millions. And that's okay, because I'll be a subscriber at that point, and I'll be happy.
Yeah.
I would have been irritated if to see it go from $9.95 to $14.95. But with the amount that we were using it, I would have still paid $14.95. Especially in its heyday when we were using it like every weekend.
Yeah, I guess so. I think my max is $12.95.
$12.95 is not a bad price. I don't know that it would have been sustainable at $12.95. Maybe it would have been. I would love $9.95. I love that. That was great. I took advantage of it when it was. I used it a lot. I was on their website when I was canceling because I thought I had to cancel through the website. And I saw that they now have a $7.95 option, but you can only see 3 movies a month. But I was like, it's dead anyways. Like $7.95, 3 movies a month, but you can't go see them in the first 2 weeks, and you can't go on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I wish someone that worked at MoviePast listened to the podcast and they could tell us what they think and what happened. What was really going on at MoviePast?
Well, I can tell you, if they were listening, they would not give us those details.
Well, that would be cool, though, is all I'm saying.
It would be cool.
Or put me in front of the CEO and I'll lay it out how it should go, and I'll fix all their problems for them. $14.95 a month, get it all figured out. You have anything else in this great debate that you want to talk about for as far as MoviePass?
I don't think so.
No. That's it. So this is usually now the time of the show where we talk about listener comments, but again, we don't have any. So if you're listening,
I have a comment because I think this person is now going to be a listener.
Ooh.
Chase.
Oh.
Chase tonight said, when we said, hey, we're going to record, he was like, oh yeah, I can't make any promises.
Yeah,
and then I've been sitting here on my computer, and what just popped up? But IndyCar Champion is online in Steam playing some video game.
Oh, great! Yeah, he couldn't record, but he can put video games.
We're watching you, Chase. We're watching you.
That was pretty funny because Chase said that he wasn't sure that he could make any promises about recording tonight, and then Kyle asked if he had a hot date, and he sent, I don't know, this picture that you put up. What is that?
I don't know. I think I googled hot date, and that's
what you got.
What
it's like this little kid with a bowl haircut that has like this like really nasty beard.
Yeah.
And then I got a nice gift there of the guy from Dumb and Dumber spraying the Banaka in his mouth. But anyways, then you put another gem up there of this. I don't know where you got this either. This is Chase's hot date right here, Beth, 25.
Wait. Oh, I thought, okay, so the dude with the beard, I got that in a text from my friend Dave, but I had that in my phone, and then I went and looked up this other one and found Six-Fingered Beth.
who sounds like she's pretty awesome. Anyways, yeah, that's it. Well, we hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Geek-Cetera. Join us next time for another thrilling adventure, but until then, a person is smart, people are dumb. Panicky, dangerous animals, and you know.
MoviePast!
Want more from the geeks? Please check out www.geek-cetera.com. You can also follow us on Twitter @Geek-Cetera or subscribe to us on YouTube. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, and if you want to discuss your own favorite geeky topics, join us on Reddit by searching r/Geek-Cetera. You may even get a shout out in a future episode. This episode is brought to you by the Geek-Cetera team. Now this is podcasting.
Why'd you change it to dumb? People are dumb.
Change what?
My quote, a person is smart, people are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it. Did you change it to dump?
Me?
Yeah.
Why would I do that?
You did. Because I know it didn't have. I always look for squiggly lines.
Squiggly lines?
Yeah, when you misspell something, it has squiggly lines, and that's how you know they misspelt it.
Dump is a word.
That's true. Well, it had squiggly lines under it. It was able to read the context, apparently.
It had squiggly lines?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I changed it.
Do you do that often? And then get me made fun of?
All the time. Probably every week.
And then they make fun of me, and they're like, oh, like the time it said elephant, it didn't say elephant, did it?
No.
You're a jerk. And then Luke and Chase are like, "Oh, what an idiot! He put elephant." I'm like, I thought I spelled it right.
Every week.
You're the worst. Oh.